Hey everybody, how you guys doing? This is your homeboy E Short coming to you as usual from his man room, hanging out with my homeboy for about 60 years.
Nah,
Big Les, how you doing, Les? What's up?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good, brother. Good to see everybody.
Yeah, man, it's been a while since we had a show, but that's
Yeah.
okay. Just to let everybody know, man, this is our 1 year anniversary of doing these podcasts, as well as this 1 year anniversary of the Brooklyn Basketball History Facebook page that has also had opportunity to become um, 5,000 members strong this past week as well. So within 1 year short a week, we made it to 5K. So a couple of things to celebrate, just let everybody know. But we also have a special guest who we used to battle with quite often
Yes,
back in the
sir. Yes,
day.
sir.
Um, I'm still hurting from this guy banging me around,
Yeah.
But without further ado, our special guest today is Desmond Martin, one of South Shore's greats. What's going on, Des?
Man, I'm just happy to be here, my brother.
Yeah, and you should
Okay.
be.
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah,
only
sir.
time
tell
I see you
everybody
guys.
about tell everybody about Desmond Martin, man.
Well, being what I grew up downtown in Brooklyn, down in Fort Greene, went to Rothschild, and spent a couple of years there. And I was fortunate enough to wind up at South Shore just by accident because I got in some trouble. And I was supposed to go to Sarah J. Hale. And my mother said,
Mm,
"You are not going to Sarah J. Hale with all those knuckleheads." So
mm,
she shipped me out to South Shore because I used a family friend's address and just happened to get a chance to play one of the best teams in the city. Tried
Right.
out for the team, made the team, and played against you guys in high school. Played against some good talent, and as I was playing in high school, I was afforded a scholarship to Boston University. So I was able to get a 4 year scholarship to Boston University, and I stayed, graduated within 4 years, and played
mm.
for a Hall of Fame coach, Rick Pitino, who's at St. John's now. So that was a crazy experience, and people tell me I should write a book about that, but that's on the back burner at this point in time. So when I left BU, I was able to get a job with Coca-Cola USA because Hall of Famer football coach worked for Coca-Cola, and he reached back and he called Rick. He said, "Rick, any black African American men that need a job, want a job?" And I was fortunate enough to be unemployed at the time, and I got picked up. So I started working for Coca-Cola for 10 years.
Mm.
And I was based out of Atlanta, but I worked upstate New York, and it was a great experience. And that is when I went back to grad school. I was at LIU. I was at LIU after you guys left, but I went to grad school at LIU, finished up, got my master's. And at the time I finished up, it was time for me to change careers. So I became New York City Transit Cop, 1990.
Mm.
So I was in transit, and I was still playing basketball. I was playing for BLS, playing for different teams, playing down at West 4th Street. I was playing for Prime Time, so I had fun playing basketball. But I didn't know that the NYPD had basketball teams and they had police Olympics. So I was kind of recruited to play on the NYPD basketball teams, and we did well. Did well. So that's when I went to law school. I was in law school at Touro University. Then I transferred to Pace Law School. But in the interim, I got recruited by Greenberg Police Department. He said, "Des, come on up here, play with us, and we'll give you some money for law school." So
Wow.
I transferred up. We won two gold medals in the police Olympics back to back.
Mm,
Greenberg,
mm.
and nobody ever heard of Greenberg before. And so I accomplished my goal. Then I got my law degree. So that was 97, got my law degree. So I just finished up with Greenberg after 32 years. I retired last year. And before
Okay.
I left, I went back to school, went to mortuary school. So I'm a funeral director also. Always wanted to do.
Wow.
So it was a choice between law school and mortuary school, and I chose law school first. So now that I'm retired, I can't say that I'm retired. I'm semi-retired because I still have two jobs.
Yeah. So in another life or another world, you could be like try somebody, put him to death and then bury him.
anytime I lock somebody up, that's what they say. Oh, you got the lieutenant here. He's gonna try you. He's gonna get you out of jail. He's gonna bury you. I got all the jokes. I definitely did get all the jokes. And I'm not
Oh
West.
man,
I'm
that's
Black
I was going
unbelievable.
to
American.
ask you, were you Jamaican? I was going to say, what are you Jamaican? My nigga got 10 jobs.
I have three beautiful daughters and a wife. And I tell you, my wife got me through everything because when I was in law school, she's like, "Dad, the diapers need to be changed." I was like, "I'm studying. I can't do it right now."
Mm-hmm.
So God bless my wife, and all my daughters are doing great, and I'm really proud. My oldest daughter is a biochemist. My middle daughter is an attorney, also, and my youngest daughter is chasing a CPA. So I'm
Nice.
really, really blessed with what they turned out to do and turned out to be. So
Right.
that's my legacy right there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's funny thing because I was talking to somebody yesterday and I was saying how every single person that we all know from b-ball time frame, they're good dads.
Right.
I'm serious, man. And their
Mm-hmm.
kids, when I see pictures of people's kids, I don't just like this. If I'm looking on social media, I don't just scroll through it. I look through, I read it, and just say, nice, good job, blah blah blah. And it's just really nice to hear that stuff, man. And the way we all talk about our children, and it's kind of it's unbelievable because people, they take it for granted,
Mhm.
and it's a good thing, man, that like all that success is drawn down on them as well. You
Right,
know,
right, right. I'm in court every day. Man.
yeah, a guy that actually almost went to Sarah J. Hale, which had probably the worst basketball team in the history of New York City. Was that like on Pacific and like the
Yeah,
other side of Flatbush or something like that?
Yeah.
that was
Yeah, I
the
know that
first year
school.
they turned co-ed. That was the first year they turned co-ed. It used to be all girls school, so it was a mess. It was a mess.
Yeah, I can
Wow.
imagine, man. But you ended up playing, in an environment that was just full of good basketball players,
Yes,
you know,
yes,
and
yes,
and a
yes.
legacy of that, win, lose, or draw. I'm not talking about the winning championship, just saying the talent pool was
Right.
just, in my opinion, South Shore carried probably the heaviest talent pool of the guys that were playing. Their
Right.
Yeah.
skill set,
Yeah.
it was across the board, right, Les? I mean,
That's
they were
true.
y'all
That's
were
true.
good from like the smallest guy to the biggest guy,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. No doubt about that.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
And I was
and
fortunate enough also to play with Brooklyn USA, man. With Lester Roberts. Can't forget him,
Oh,
man. He showed me a lot. And I don't know if you remember, he had a store on Nostrand Avenue. That's when I first met him. I walked into the store to get one of his bags. And in
Sports
ninth grade.
Unlimited.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and that's all those opportunities that were presented to you from that time, it made you the guy that you are today, and the interaction with all of us has been um stood the test of time as well.
Right, right.
And like I was saying, like the talent pool that y'all had across the city or across Brooklyn, but just in your school alone, how did you forge through? Like, was practice like any different, or like, the situation of being there in South Shore because there was so much talent there? What was that experience like for you?
Well, I tried out for the JV. There must have been about 30 guys that were there to try out.
mhm.
So we had a glut of talent, and not everybody made it. And we had a new coach. So we had a lot of guys. Billy Giddens, I don't know if you know Billy
Yeah,
Giddens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Billy was a super senior in ninth grade, and we had a lot of talent, and the young coach didn't know how to harness all of it. So uh, you had some issues there, but man, we practices were great when
Mm-hmm.
guys were in school. There's some guys that had issues with going to class and getting suspended, things of that nature. But for the most part, the guys that hung out and stayed with us, we were a tight group. And I'm still in contact with all those guys today. All
yeah,
those
Mm.
guys.
yeah. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's funny thing you
Yeah.
mentioned Billy Giddens. I'm not kidding, man. I swear I was talking about him yesterday. I really was, man, because I was talking to Stogie, and we were saying how Billy Giddens was the first guy to do like the bike layup. Like how he like kick his leg out and
Yep.
have that
Yep.
leg out and take that bike layup, man. It
Mm-hmm.
was like,
Yep.
yo,
Yep.
and he
Rest in
was
peace.
tough, man. He was
Yeah.
tough, man. May he rest in
Definitely
peace,
tough.
man.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
he was a stick up kid. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was a stick-up kid, man. I mean, it's very funny, man, because I was telling Stogie one time I saw him like in East Flatbush, and he was across the street, and I was standing with some guys, and he walked back over to me, and he was like, "Hey, what's up?" And he said, "What you doing over here, man?" Chilling. He said, "Yo, man, I just stuck up them two dudes." And he just walked off, man. He just walked off. He said, "I'll check you out later, man." But yo, he was really a good player, man, and
Yeah, and a
um,
good guy, man.
yeah, but then you had the guys, that did make the team from Earl Fuller,
Right.
Tony
Mo Fox,
Biles,
Tony Biles was on the team, Bobby
yeah,
Yeah.
Scarborough.
Face,
Yeah,
Andre Stanley, Mike
yeah, yeah,
Bennett. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. We had a great,
Maurice Fox. Man,
yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
when is this gonna stop?
yeah.
Taking guys
But
out of the art class lesson. There's like guy 6'8", and he's like doing
Yeah.
buckets,
Yeah.
man. You
but we
know,
had 7,000 students at our school. It was a large school. It's just relatively new, about 3 years old, but we had 7,000 students. So that's the most in the country at that time. So
mm,
there was a glut from Brownsville, East New York. They were busing people in. I came in from Fort Greene. Then you had the projects across the street, Glenwood. So we had a
Right.
lot of people at the school. Plus, we had a great football team. We had a great baseball team. So it was a lot of talent at every
Mm.
level.
yeah.
Every
What
level.
what was that? What was that ride for you like? I don't know if you remember, but what was that ride like from Fort Greene? Like what you know?
Well, I got on the bus. I took the 41 to the 6. So I was getting on at Bergen Street and Flatbush Avenue, not far from the 78 precinct where I got into trouble. I was so I,
So you took the Flatbush Avenue bus
yeah,
all the way down to Glenwood and then took the
yeah,
6?
yeah. Hmm.
Wow, I would have thought you would have taken the 25 to the 46.
No, I wasn't going through Bed-Stuy. No.
Yeah, that's why I never used to see you, because that's the way we went,
Right,
but we crossed paths because you're going up on the 6 in one direction. I'm
right,
going on the 6 to Midwood going in the other direction.
right, right. And
So
your
it
boy
just
Jim
seemed kind of
Stone,
odd,
rest in
man.
peace. Rest in peace, Jim. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
So yeah, I took that 41 to the 6. Hmm.
Yeah. And what was the experience like? Because I've heard a lot of stories about the busing situation for people at, let's say, Canarsie and South Shore in particular. What was that
Hmm.
like for you during that time frame?
The racial tension existed. The racial riots existed. However, I guess I got a pass because of my size and who I was affiliated with on the basketball team and the football team. So
Right.
they were very selective in who they picked and chose who to harass. I didn't
Right.
experience the harassment firsthand, but some of my classmates most definitely did. Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah, and I could imagine, was that like, but well, at least based on the stories that I hear, was that the longevity to it, or did it die down, or was it like just something that let's just say the adults that were around couldn't get a handle on, or did they even try?
I think I got there in 74, 75. So I think the 2 years prior were probably the hardest and most difficult times, and it kind of died down when I was there. I don't know if it was accepted or if they just got tired of fussing and fighting because there were just too many blacks and too many people there to say we're not leaving, we're not going anywhere.
Right.
So
Right.
the population started to change, and the Italians and the whites they started to become the minority. So I think
Right.
it died down by the time I got out in '77. But they
Mhm.
still had flare-ups. They definitely
Right.
did.
And still, and like you said, even with all of that, the people you associated yourself with, in other words, athletics were kind of like was the calming nature of
Absolutely.
everything, because then you were covered for all that matters.
Absolutely.
You were part of
Absolutely.
the clan or part of the group in that
Right.
situation, whereas a regular student didn't have that backing, you
Right.
know. And
Mm.
Everybody came to our games. Our games were sold out every game. We had twirlers, boosters, cheerleaders, and everybody was there during the games. Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
you ever play against FDR back in those days?
No, Vinny was there, I think, the year before, and they played. The older guys played. Andre Stanley, Face, Dal
Mm.
Robbins. They played against Vinny, but we didn't play FTR. They were in a different division than us.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
because FDR would have been with us less, right?
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you, FDR, man, that was a scary place to play, man. After the
Mm,
game, going
mm,
past that funeral, I mean the graveyard, trying to get to
mm,
the train station.
mm,
Everybody's
mhm.
yelling off the window, nigga, nigga, nigga. It's like whoa.
Right.
And then we
And
say,
Lafayette.
your mama's a nigga, and just run to the train.
Yeah, but it's crazy because it's like I mean when I talk to different people, it's like I would say the same thing. Like I never had a problem at South Shore. I mean, I think we played with you guys maybe once there, but
Mhm.
FDR, man, that was a problem for us, man, for
Yeah,
real,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
And it was crazy because I would take a bus from there.
Mhm.
I would take the, like the number 8 bus down and
Yeah.
then, the Notion Avenue bus back into, Flatbush. But FDR and New Utrecht, those were like really two really hard
Right.
places
Right.
to play. But when you're coming from a place like Canarsie or South Shore or Midwood, and you're going to those schools, there's such a even keel of whites and blacks at the school that it didn't seem like it was a black school going to play at FDR. It's
Right.
Midwood, so they're kind of white, so
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Right,
They got their reputation.
yeah, exactly. And South Shore and Canarsie would probably have the same thing. But if your boys high, it's a different scenario.
right.
They know how
Yeah,
you coming.
yeah, it changes right
Or
away.
Jeff. Or
Yeah,
Jeff.
yeah. I mean, the
Yeah,
dynamic
Jeff
changes right
too.
away,
Yep.
and
Right. Right.
um,
Right. I
and
played.
the people I talk to though, Des, they
Mhm.
remember those days, like get to the game, like with the team. You coming in with the coach,
Right.
and you're walking through the school because school's probably still going on, late
Right,
classes,
right.
and
Mhm.
going to certain schools were a problem, man. They were just
Right.
walking through the hallways, man, and
Well,
uh,
it's not all white because we went to Erasmus and that was a problem, and everybody was black.
Eeyore, yeah, yeah. But
So
that was like our home school, so we went there, and that was just real cool.
yeah,
yeah,
that's what
Like
I'm saying.
all our
Exactly. I
homeboys would come
go,
to the game,
me and Les
rooting
will
for
walk through
us.
that place, man. They be, hey, hey, Les, what's
Yeah,
up, man?
yeah.
You're gonna
uh,
destroy us today? Yeah, that's what's gonna happen, man. The girls
Oh,
will go to the girls, man. They all knew us because we were supposed to
yeah,
go to school at.
right,
okay,
Um,
right.
yeah, because it's
Yeah,
very weird being that this is the 10th anniversary show. Oddly enough, Les and I've been doing this for a while. We had quite a number of guests in here. And I think just about every single person we talk to, Les, knows the story of you, me, Calvin Hicks. Am I right? Because it seems like
yeah.
we mention it all the time. Because Desmond, we were supposed to be at Erasmus, all
all
three
three
of
of you.
us.
Oh, that
Yeah.
would have been.
We lived like a block away from each other
Yeah, yeah,
in
Oh,
Flatbush, man.
yeah,
Riley lived one way,
yeah,
Calvin lived the other way, Les lived
yeah,
one way, like a T. And
yeah,
then
mhm,
Andre Gaddy and
yeah.
Felix. Felix was on Flatbush in Rutland.
Uh-huh.
So we were like, I mean, imagine there's like 6 guys over 6'5" that were like all Brooklyn caliber players, man. And
That would have been something. That would have been something,
yeah,
man.
but I said that I actually talked to Felix Tertullian the other day.
Oh yeah,
He sends his regards to everybody. But
okay,
he was like, but would Bunyan, the coach of the Rats, would he have known what to do with that?
Right.
true, true. That's true
Because
too.
coach at Bunyan, and reason why none of some of us didn't go there was because of him, because he was such a stickler kind of guy.
Right.
So having the opportunity to go somewhere else, worked out great. But people
Yeah,
before us, there were problems. 'Cause my brother
but
had
you
a
know what
problem.
though? But I think the biggest problem would have been that he would know what to do with somebody who's 6'5" and put him in the backcourt in 1973.
Right, right,
You know what
right.
I mean? The way it
Yeah,
is now, that's natural. You
right.
know,
Mhm.
so I think that would have been the biggest problem.
Yeah, and then but then we still got to play against them fast little guys at South Shore.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't like them little guys, man. Not I mean as teammates fine, but when you're playing against them, oh man,
Put
little
on the
little
floor. It's
little
gone.
basketball players, man.
yeah,
You know, and it's but it's just with that whole aura of environment, and all of us having possibly have been able to play together would have we could only just conjure up what might have happened, but
Right.
hmm
I would have I would have thought that it would have been a great idea, but like I said, Bunyan, he probably would have messed that up, man.
Probably. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
so what was the transition for you from South Shore and then going and playing at, um the college level? What was that like for you transitioning into the higher level, um based on after playing in Brooklyn, for most of your life?
Well, the first thing you have to get used to, I went to Boston right after the racial riots. There was forced busing in '76. They had nationwide protest, things of that nature, because they were sending the black kids from Roxbury to South Boston. So I got up there tumultuous time. Sounded like I was back at South Shore. And we were kind of secluded from it. However, the end of campus at Kimmel Square, you had Fenway Park, and that caused some issues after the games. Drunk white guys from South Boston, Charlestown would come after you. So when I got up there, they said there are certain places that you cannot go while you're in Boston. So
Mhm.
that was kind of culture shock. I was a little ticked off that I couldn't go down to the Commons and see the Pope, but there were certain things I had to just rein in. And then the second thing is you're on your own. You're 17 years old. You're by yourself. You got to study. Nobody's going to tell you to study. Nobody's going to tell you to leave that party at 12 o'clock and go home at a reasonable hour. So um, you have to mature quickly. If not, you'll be back home. And I went to one of the best schools academically in the country, so I knew I had to perform. So I had that over my head. And then you're talking about Division I basketball and the pressure. It's a full-time job, as you
Yeah,
guys know, full-time
yeah.
job,
Mhm.
and you have to maintain your academics. And then you
Right.
have the component of the women out there. If you're from New York, you live in Boston, you got the big afro. Come on, I want to tell you guys.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And even the things that people take for granted. I mean, and I think this is like I didn't have that problem, but there might have been some place. I think probably maybe Riley might have had that problem. A guy with size, that your eating habits,
right,
just that you're living on your own, man. And
right,
so
right.
in that era, there weren't dietitians and people
No, we
monitoring.
didn't have nutritionists. We had a strength coach on the team. But as far as what to eat, the training table, if you missed training to the regular cafeteria at 6 o'clock, you were asked out.
Yeah,
And
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
my
Yeah.
first year, we had a soccer coach, and we were doing bad. So the next year, Rick came in. First thing he said, Des, you got to lose 30 pounds. I'm like, oh, shit, here we go.
Wow. Hmm.
So I lost 30 pounds and I played for him, but it's just what you had to do.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 And it's like,
It,
and you could pay that price. It's funny because at LIU, you had choices. You get to get the cafeteria, like the meal plan, or you can get a kitchen. And if you get a kitchen, then you're responsible for feeding yourself,
right,
Hmm.
right,
you know,
right.
and um and then the other option was you could stay home, which and you would get an even larger stipend because you were
Right.
staying at home. So
Right.
so there's like those dynamics. People take it for granted, but I experienced all three: being home in the city and da da da. There's three options. But if you're out, in another city, another state, 18, 19, 20 years old,
You're
you
on your
and
own.
an athlete, you have to manage that
Yeah.
Yeah,
because your
yeah,
because your strength level is a essential.
right.
You're up here eating ramen noodles all the time because you can't get food and you're missing, the cafeteria food. It's going to impact your energy level. It's going to
Yep.
impact you as a person. So kids got it good now,
Oh man,
um,
forget about it.
yeah,
They
man.
charter planes. They have they can eat whenever they want to eat. They
Yeah.
have nutritionists. They have a separate training table, especially when you go higher up in the division, as far as the
Mm.
top 25. And when Rick came, we started playing these top 25 teams, and I saw guys. I was a center, power forward at BU and mid major. But when we started playing these top 25 teams, I'm a point guard on these guys' teams. We played
Wow.
against we played against LSU and Willie Sims, rest in peace. He was a backcourt, but he's bigger than me. Willie's my size. I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. So you can see
Yeah.
the difference when you go to these different programs. Then you see the training facilities that they have.
Hmm.
Night and day, night and day, night and day.
Yeah, I mean,
It
and
was a
that it's
great.
funny thing you said that because we played in the college, the all college tournament in Oklahoma State University. Man, and it's a football school,
Right, right, right,
man, oh man, boy, it's like you see stuff in there that LIU, I mean, they don't have a football program, so
right,
weight
right.
training and all and that stuff was not part of the regiment and the thought process of the athletic department. Whereas those big schools,
That's
that's
all.
that's the key
Right,
is
Right,
strength
right.
and conditioning. So
right.
it is like kind of shocking when you do see that though, right? Does you
Oh
know?
man, we played LSU. We went to the game. We went to practice before the game, and I'm getting off the bus. I see the 90,000 seat football stadium to my right, and I see this big cage as I'm walking toward the basketball court. And in the cage is a live Bengal tiger. Live Bengal tiger. Okay. Our
Shit.
mascot, our mascot was Francine, who was a girlfriend of mine at the time. I said, man, she was in a dog outfit, bro. We'll get our ass kicked tonight.
Yeah, but
Oh,
it's serious. I mean, and the business of college athletics is serious big business. And as a player, you do what you have to do, but you look at the infrastructure around it at each location, like and just anywhere in the country, and you see what it's built up to be. You go into Duke or North Carolina, you go in UNLV. I mean, it's like the shrines and the attention to the detail and
right.
everything. It really is kind of overwhelming. Not because you see that one school, because if you go there, you see that place, but knowing that
Mhm.
all of these places are thriving or striving to be like that,
Right, right, right.
and we participated in it. So,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It
um,
was,
yeah, but and to me, I treat it like I'm a looter. You take whatever I can, because it's because it's my experience, right? So if you're playing against somebody or a place, you go and get what you can out of it, the experience, and go on to the next place, you know, because it doesn't last.
the problem
That's
is
the
you said
truth.
you feel like a looter, but the young basketball athlete, they're not getting their education. They're not getting the education. So there should be some type of guarantee that says you take as much money, blood, sweat, and tears from me, but guarantee a scholarship that I can get a college degree. A
Yeah,
lot of guys don't get that degree.
yeah,
Hmm.
and so all of the work was really for naught,
Right.
you
Right.
know, and then but you take that and you multiply it by every year that passes, every year, and how
Right.
many schools there are, Division one, two, threes,
Yep.
every year, and um it's kind of sad because the rules are everybody has their own rules and
Mm-hmm.
they're not intertwined with each other.
Right, right.
Word, then you could fix the problem, it would be smoother. But they're not going to do that. The
Mm-hmm.
NIL thing has them going crazy. They don't know how to deal with that yet.
Yeah, yeah.
you know and
I'm
that's
trying to find out if I can recoup some money for the NIL when I played, man. So I'll let you know. If I get somebody, I'll let you guys know.
Yo, man, let me know, man. Cause I heard some people ready to buy my jerseys, man.
Yeah, but I mean, but it's at its infant stage. So
Yeah, it is.
we
Yeah.
don't know what it's going to turn into, man. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
it could really mess things up because if my coach is not focused on that, then it's kind of like it's my party and I cry if I want to. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna jump ship.
Mm-hmm.
And so now they have that portal is all messed up because
Yeah.
people
The
all
transfer
over the
portal
place.
is worse.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's the idea of me saying, "Hey, Desmond, you're the best center in the world. Desmond, you're the best center in the world." Meanwhile, it's like 40 guys legitimately better than you,
Right.
and
Right.
it's like I'm feeding you like something. I'm telling you it's popcorn, but it's not. It's
Right.
like,
Right.
and that's
Right.
what's happening. And the thing that really hurts me is the people that are facilitating all the information that are not part of the university, they're pipe dreamers. They're filling pipe dreams in these kids' heads, and I so miss that angry, or that calm Lester Roberts, that angry Gil Reynolds, George Merton.
George Merton.
I miss that, man, because
Yeah,
and
yeah.
kids miss that because they want
Right.
the truth, right?
Hmm.
They don't want nobody bullshitting them, and they want to be pushed.
Right,
Give me
right.
20 push-ups. They want to do the push-ups, believe me, because they know
Yeah,
it's going to
yeah.
help.
There's no
But
practice.
it's a
These
mess.
guys, I say these guys are more athletically gifted. I've seen more shorter guys dunking. They're faster, they're quicker. But do
Yeah.
they know how to get over a pick and roll? Do they know the fundamentals? Do they know that when you're on the weak side, you can't just look at your
You're
opponent?
right.
You know, you
Yep.
got to open up. So they don't know the fundamentals, man. They
Mhm.
don't.
And just
They're
the
being
effort, but just the effort of playing, it's kind of like it's like a video game. Like in a video game, the parts, the pieces, or the players in the video game, they run down the court and they stand in certain places. Guys stand, and that's how the video games are. Guys stand in the corner. You throw the ball in the corner. He takes a jump shot. He doesn't follow his shot. The guy in the other corner, he's not following your shot. He
Right.
as you're releasing the shot, he's running back on D. So
Mhm.
why he doesn't have to be in shape then?
right,
Because he's
right.
not giving any effort. He runs
But
down to a spot, stands there. The guy's teammate shoots the ball. He's not shooting. He runs back the other way. And
Would
I have so many videos on my phone of rewinding a game and seeing NBA players do that. That is disgusting to me. You know.
did you, when you played? Did you celebrate after you shot? Did you take a
So
oh,
picture?
come
Because
on, man.
look.
my
Let me
coach used
ask
to
you.
be taking
But hold on a
pictures.
second, Desmond. Let
That
me
was
ask you a
not heard
question.
of.
Desmond, you see anything over here? Look over here. You see anything on the side of my head?
No hair, no.
No, no, I don't mean like that. I mean like from this.
Yeah.
Somebody hits a three and they're yeah, after a while you would have dents in your head, Like
Yeah.
what am I doing that for?
Yeah.
And I get it, man. I mean maybe I don't get it. But
No.
what am I hitting myself in the head for? I don't understand.
But I mean, Des, you and E can attest to this, man. How many times you done dunked on somebody and then just didn't go, oh, your mother, your father, your sister. Come on, man. You dunked them, you pat them on the ass and said, damn, you almost got that. But it was between you and them. You know what
Yeah,
I
Right.
mean?
but you being nice, so because you're gonna pat him on the ass, because I know you, I know how you are. Unless you're gonna set him, you're setting him up. But
Yeah.
I'm not saying, anything. I'm dunking on him, and I'm out of there,
Yeah,
and I'm out of there.
going back on defense. Not talking to
And
the
I always say, why would I incite Dez by making a basket on him and then
right.
talking shit to him? I'm not doing
But
that.
see, but see, the whole thing is the mutual respect because this guy don't went to try to catch my dunk, and I got him. So I let him know that was a good effort, man. I pat him on the ass and say, "Baby, next time."
Because
But
you're
that's between me
competing,
and him. Nobody else knew. The other
right?
eight
Because
players
you're
on the court didn't
competing,
know I
though.
said that to him.
Yeah, and you're
You know,
competing. That's
right after the
competition.
game, we'll shake hands. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
It's totally different. I don't
yeah.
like it. I don't like it.
Yeah. There we go. Hey everybody, is my daughter Amanda. Amanda is Desmond Martin. And you know
Hey,
Yo,
your
Desmond.
uncle.
Hey, Uncle Les.
What's up,
I
baby?
think I
How
met her
you
about
doing?
20 years ago. We came
Oh,
down,
wow.
BLS came down to play your team, you in South Jersey. Oh, 20, 25 years ago, man.
Oh, that's right, at
Oh,
Mattawan.
wow.
Yeah,
At
yeah.
Mattawan.
Little, she was little.
Yeah, I don't remember, unfortunately. My apologies.
You a toddler somewhere around there.
Ah.
Yeah, she turned into a mad bomber, man.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Shooting at
Good for
jump
her.
shots, man.
Okay, good for her, man. We didn't
Um,
have a 3-pointer. I didn't play when there was a 3-pointer. I don't know
Nah,
about
we
you.
didn't play with. Nah.
yeah, she jumped on the line, I guess, because we're also, like I was telling everyone, celebrating, 1 year anniversary of the show and both Brooklyn basketball history page. And from the experiences of a conversation that you and I have about it and about the content and what we're trying to provide, to the Brooklyn community, I just found it necessary to invite you onto the show today. How's things going?
Pretty good. Glad to be here. And super proud of you guys for doing this for a year. I think a lot of people tend to start things, but you have been extremely consistent, have been pushing content, different subjects, keeping people engaged. And so I think it's a wonderful thing because it keeps things alive and I think it keeps things relevant. People always say, you don't know where you're going, so you know where you come from. And you guys from I would say the age that you are and the time that you did play, it's really important for people to understand that and to be able to get some type of information so that they can learn to move forward. Whether or not they grasp it is a whole nother thing, but the information is there, and I think that says a lot. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And it's been, it's been a tough sell just to myself to know what everybody's going to enjoy when it comes to content. But I think that one of the things, unless and I talk about it, like even with the shows, like who we're going to have on there, what we're going to talk about, what should we do with the page, and even with Desmond, I was like, we got to get Desmond on this show, and it was like,
Yeah,
you
you
know,
know that.
yeah, and it was important, but it's
Yeah.
like that guiding that process with the page and making sure, like you said, everybody's engaged and everyone sees what's going on. You see the history is like just utterly ridiculous to me, and like I said, 5,000 members right now in less than a year, and there's people on this page like Desmond, that's like really unbelievable. There's people in this page that they were playing basketball in Brooklyn in the 40s.
Mm-hmm.
It's I think Billy Cunningham's point guard is on the page.
Yeah,
Nice,
yeah.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're appreciative of it because it's our memories,
Right. It is. It
and
is.
it's like that
It's
the
a lot of
time that
pride.
yeah,
It's a lot
yeah.
of pride, I think, too, that shows through. And I think nothing more is insightful or engaging or interesting until it's kind of like that. They seem so happy. I want to be a part of that. They seem so proud. It seems so interesting. And I think, if you just wrote out a bunch of articles and people read them, it would be one thing. But to see the way that people react consistently, day to
Mm-hmm.
day, sharing things, it's crazy to me because I'm not from that time. I can only, go based upon, stories, of course, like I said before, you and Uncle Les, I can hear, but now I'm seeing a group of people in mass. And I think that it's infectious, which is why I think it keeps people coming.
Yeah, yeah. Yes,
And
indeed.
it could be worse though, right?
It could be, right? You could have a page where no one comments.
Yeah.
I just want
It
to
could
ask
have been. It
Desmond, is
could have
that
been a
where you
bomb.
are?
Huh?
Desmond, is your background just active or is that where you actually are? Because if you are, I'm super jealous.
That's where my mind is. I'll be in Dubai.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, I said, where is this guy at? I said, I need to be there.
I'm
I
going
think
to Dubai at the end of the month. So
Oh my
Oh, nice,
goodness.
I'm
nice.
just getting my head right.
Nice.
You're getting
yeah, I
ready,
think
I
right?
understand.
it's a bit deceiving because of the palm tree that is blowing in the wind,
Right.
So it's kind of like,
Like, whoa.
whoa.
Yeah,
If you had
so
picked up a pina colada or something, you would have sold it a lot better.
You would have
You know,
sold me for real. You would
without a
have sold
hoodie
me. I'd have
on
been like,
too.
well,
But you shouldn't have a hoodie on. You should have like a tank top or something.
No, but that's the reason why the wind is blowing, though, man. So it's a little chilly.
yeah, it's a little chilly. He's in
I'll
the
send you some
cabana.
pictures. I'll send you some pictures when I get there. That's all
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna say.
selling it, bro. You selling it good, man. You selling
Yeah,
it
man.
good, man. So Des, what do you have plans for your retirement, man? What's your plan? What's your plan, bro?
Well, the thing is to really retire. Like I said, 32 years in law enforcement, been out for a year. And this past weekend, I just left Georgia because we moved down to Georgia. I just took a captain's assessment test. So I
Mhm.
might get back into it. I might go to a small department in Georgia and take a captain position. I don't know. So I'm 64 years old, so I need to slow down a little bit. But once you slow down, I see guys that retire. Once you slow down, that's the end of the road, bro.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't want to slow down, and we'll see what happens. I'm still doing the law thing. I'm in court every day, and I do funerals on the weekend. So I don't know when I'm going to retire,
Doesn't sound like you're gonna slow down anytime soon,
bro.
bro.
Yeah. Well, that's about the options that you created for yourself, and not
Right.
options that fall in your lap, but options that you created for yourself.
Yeah,
So
absolutely, absolutely.
there's a big difference, in how everything's looked upon versus and no, and not to be knocking anything, but my options went in the other direction because of health issues. So
Right,
when
right.
you have health issues, a lot of things are different. But when to not foresee, like, the latter part of your years and not having those options, it makes things tough, man. And
Yeah, it does. It does.
it's
We
but
all
just
have challenges. We all have health challenges, and we just got to manage them and not let
Yeah,
them overtake us.
absolutely,
That's the
absolutely,
key.
absolutely.
Sure they don't overtake us, man. And
yeah, and but it's
I,
tough though. I tell you, man. It's really tough. I think that all of the things that we learned though, man, it's like as far as like the options are concerned, are very much related to the things that you do as an athlete. Is always to make sure that you have options and you have different
Hmm.
skill sets available to
right.
be successful on the court. And the same thing applies in people's lives. And the level of education that you kept pursuing, is what is kind of like it made the difference, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Man, yo, Daz, your educational things, man, are more impressive than your basketball. I
Thank
swear,
you.
I didn't know those things, man. I'm very proud of you, brother. I appreciate that. Much respect.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. And it's all about opportunity, man. You have an
Mhm.
opportunity, and I was blessed with a lot of opportunities, man, and took advantage of most of them. The only thing I regret is not going overseas to play basketball. I still look at
Mhm.
that contract that I had. It wasn't a lot of money, but it was Norway, Sweden. And
Mhm.
I said, never have any regrets, man. And I tell my kids, just do what your heart tells you to and not have
Mhm.
any regrets.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, man.
yeah, and
You would
that's
have
just
liked it over
that.
there, though. You
Mhm.
definitely would have liked it over there, bro. Especially back in those days. Come on, man.
less. Everybody said it's not a lot of money, but Des, you'd have a lot of fun. I said, man, I
Yeah,
need money. I don't need fun. I
Yeah,
yeah, man.
but it's there, but
Yeah, man.
but more so than anything, than both either playing, the money, but just the experience, man, to be able to
Exactly.
experience that,
Yeah,
man.
that was it for me. The
Yeah,
experience, man.
Right.
But Dad, I'm
and
gonna tell you something. That same team that you would have been on now,
Uh,
right? If it was 2024, you wouldn't have to worry about working at all. You know what I mean? The
that's
game
the
has
thing.
changed, man. The money has changed a lot, a
It has
whole lot.
changed.
Yeah.
And I saw Les at Wingate Park, and he started speaking French. I'm like, man, you know French? What is?
Yeah.
But the thing is, when we were playing and going overseas, these my teammates would call me, Des, I don't have any money. I said, what are you talking about? I didn't get enough
Hmm.
rebounds. They didn't pay me. I didn't score enough. They didn't pay me.
Hmm.
The team is bankrupt. I didn't get paid. I said,
Hmm.
I wasn't going halfway across the world to call my
yeah,
mother,
yeah.
why are we so
For two reasons. Yeah, two reasons. The first one is like you said, like financially they weren't stable, but also they would hover checks over your head. If you're not
Hmm.
doing what they want you to do, it's like they're hovering over you. It's like, why do I want to be here in the first place if you're gonna treat me like that? So that experience turns into a horror show.
yeah, yeah.
So and why and then you don't want to do it. How
Hmm.
can
It's a
you
walk on
perform?
eggshells mentality.
Right.
Every
Yeah,
time you
Right.
step on the court, you're afraid, you're timid because what if I don't do this? And honestly, I think it messes with the psyche. I mean, back then it was a little bit different, but even from people that I knew that when I was in college, one of the biggest things they harped on were we can only allow but so many Americans on the team. So if there's only two guys from America, you have to perform. If you're underperform, you're out of here, and they're bringing in another guy. And so when you're playing in a world like that, like I mean, don't get me wrong, performance should be reviewed, should be evaluated, but it is with a fine tooth comb, and you don't know when you're going home, and you don't know when you're going to stay, and you don't know when you're going to get money. And I'm not going to say you were right, Desmond, but you were right. You went in a different direction where something was
But
a
but
little bit
but
more stable, right? The
yeah.
stability of it that you can live and survive, in this world because nothing is free. So
But
yeah.
you know what, though? I was so naive to that whole thing, right? That it was like after the game I get paid. Okay, sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's 2 days after, right? But they gave me my apartment. They gave me the ride. So that was cool. I got to eat all the time, you know. And then I realized my team was so bad, right? That all they wanted me to do was dunk. Miller smash, Miller smash. Don't pass me the ball. Because we play ball. When somebody's open, it's hard to take a shot because somebody's so wide open.
Right.
And I'm throwing the ball and they're fumbling it. So they said, don't pass, don't pass. So I get my 35 a game and I go home and have a beer. That was it.
Don't pass. Man,
Don't pass.
I
Don't pass.
wish I ever had a coach that said don't pass, man.
And one of my teammates were telling me don't pass.
Oh,
Because they
that's
were tired
worse,
of
man.
doing the ball. They said, don't pass the ball. Don't pass to me. You just do your thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, that was it.
But see, it's funny because now the game has changed so much, and they become more knowledgeable of the game, the international part of the game, and but at the same time, it's tainting the way the game is being played now.
Right,
You
right.
know,
Yeah.
I truly believe what Gilbert Arenas said a week ago, that the foreign game, the way the game, not the players, not the people, but the way the game was played, has infiltrated itself to the point where it's softened up the game a bit. The rules become more relaxed. There's not toughness on the court playing D. Like we said before, the guys standing still on the court, they don't give an effort, and it just turns into, it's not basketball anymore. It's more like chess. You move, I move. You move, I move. And it shouldn't be like that, because it was like, I'm supposed to be trying to stop you from moving, right? That's the whole idea, right? Of basketball is
Right.
to stop the ball from going in
Well,
the
that's what they
basket.
say, right? Get a stop. Get a stop.
Yeah,
Right?
but you
That
ain't
was what
getting
they
no
used to
stop.
say. But there's no stop.
Yeah,
They're still
and
going.
then you play against or for coaches that are of such a high level that expect that out of you. Like, you play for Rick Pitino, there's no nonsense. That guy's asking you to do things that humans can't do.
Exactly.
But now, they don't ask you to do anything.
No. The problem is, what I see in the pro game is they're concerned about scoring. They just want to be entertained, and the people are really not really true fans. They're not aficionados like you guys and myself. Because when we look at the game, there's no way a guy can come down the lane and dunk it without being hit,
Yeah,
without being
absolutely.
somebody taking the charge.
Yeah.
And it's all for entertainment purposes. You see the people on the court side with their flashy clothes and bling bling, things of that nature. So it's totally changed, man. And
Right.
that's why Rick was not successful in the pros. He had these pros pressing 94
Right.
feet.
Right.
And
Yeah.
And they didn't want to do that.
I remember, you guys remember Sid Green. Sid was playing for Rick with the Knicks. And I said, oh, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And the game, the change in the game has created, this type of situation. Like you said, it's so much softer, and no one's saying anything, but it's the entertainment value of the game has become more important. And that's
Right.
like that, the and one mentality has infiltrated itself
Oh,
into the
absolutely.
professional ranks,
That's a good
as
point. Yep.
well as
Yep.
and no disrespect to them, I might get some pushback for this, but the nerd mentality of stats and things of that nature, which they're important, but now there's like, you look at the games and it's like, if this is the uniform that the coach wears, there's like 9 guys with the same thing on. It's just like 9 coaches there now, and these guys are tracking such minor details about the game, but
Right.
nobody's saying, why are you dribbling the ball until there's 4 seconds left on the clock and then giving the best player in the team the ball to try to make a basket?
They call
Nobody's
it
saying
analytics,
anything.
right? They
Huh?
call it
Yeah.
analytics.
Yeah.
Call it analytics. Not
Yeah.
Yeah.
throw it out the window. Throw it out.
And
plus now they betting on all those analytics.
right.
Right.
You know,
And so that's right.
everything
That's the
you
other
can bet
thing.
on.
That's the new thing this week.
Everything you can bet
Right.
on.
Now betting is okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you have not. So now you're going to end up probably, I guarantee you, within 5 years, there's going to be a scandal of somebody betting on a game. I
Yeah.
guarantee you it's going to happen. And it's like to cross streams with people that get paid 15, 20, $50 million, and people who get scholarships that are valued of $60,000 a year, and then people who are not even just barely out of their diapers. The 3 different levels of what we've played, and it's all intertwined now. What's next? The 8th grader is going to play in the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you're not going to be able to touch him because he's going to be like 10 pounds. so he can play
Well,
because
they've already started that, right? When you think about some of the prep schools, like the Monteverdes or some of those bigger schools, you have eighth graders playing varsity. Like, so it's already kind of fusing, and I don't even really know essentially what that means, right? I see all these videos, Game Time's putting out these videos. The best eighth grader in the country, he already has offers. It's already starting to fuse, and I think you're playing a hard ball game when you start doing that. I think that there should be divisions and processes for a reason, right? And I think what everything is doing is they're just lumping it together. And I don't 100% know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's a really interesting thing to watch, and we'll just have to see how it unfolds. But the rules are going to start to change. Even the recruiting is going to start to change. All of those things are just kind of up for grabs. And I understand, evolution. I understand that things are going to change, right, with time. But I think things were put in place for a reason, and it worked for so many years. And now all of a sudden, it's this new wave where things need to be changed, and they need to be this way to accommodate, instead of just people standing on their square and saying, no, it's always been this way. Let's keep it this way,
Right.
So, which just shows that people are heavily influenced, right? People are easy to jump on the bandwagon of something new instead of just going with what worked for years. So
yeah, well, it's
it'll
not
be
just
interesting to
that.
see.
Yeah, it's not just that. And just want to say, what's up, Joe? Is Joe Jackson
What's up,
has
Joe?
joined
What's up,
us.
y'all?
You
Hi,
know,
Joe.
but the
How
other
are y'all?
thing is just, there's no voice of opposition that says, this is how the game is supposed to be played. And there's supposed to be a level of integrity behind that. I understand you're going to come up with new rules, adjustments, and those are minor things. But when you do things that impact it holistically, it's like somebody should be saying, that's not what the game is about. It should be a no. It shouldn't be, and it shouldn't be up for discussion. I'm not, you allow 3-pointers to be shot, fine. This should not be allowed for me to take 3 steps. It should
Man,
not be
come on,
allowed.
man.
It
That's one of
should
my pet
not be. I
peeves.
don't care. I don't care what's going on. You could change everything when it comes to the game of basketball, but to give me an extra step is not the way the game is played.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right. I agree.
Yeah.
So what's say you, Joe Jackson? What's happening, baby?
That man just got in from work, so I just thought I'd pop in and say congratulations, happy 1 year anniversary to us, and it's been a pleasure being a part of the admin team,
All
and
right.
I love all the history. I mean, I'm starting to see stuff back when of players back when I was born, the years I was born. So so I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Good.
But I just wanted to pop in and say congratulations. What's up? And we'll talk soon.
All right, man.
I
Thanks a lot.
appreciate that, man. Yeah,
All right.
thanks for the work you put in.
Yes, sir.
Keeping an eye on the page, man, has been something that's needed because all of the craziness that tries to get through. But it's been a kind of like an education for us all to see like the level of of legacy basketball that was going on that kind of like we don't think about. Like you said,
Yeah.
when we were born, there were guys like doing work like you wouldn't believe, and it's like you said, I'm hearing names of people that I had no idea. Guys that play for Rasmussen, because Rasmussen Boys High talks
Rasmus.
about
Yeah,
so
right.
much of
Yeah.
the history of Brooklyn. Like guys like 1940s, Rasmussen Boys High were going at it. They were going
Yeah.
at it, man. And it's like, and that's nice to know, man. And guys, I'm finding out, that were good during those days, and they went on and were ranked like #1 player in the country. And a lot of people don't even know those things.
Mhm.
Like I could give a perfect example. Desmond, Perry Daniels.
No.
Yeah, you should know Perry because he's our age, right? He played at Kingsborough, and he used to always play, with the guys from like Tilden Park. But Perry, his brother is Glenn Daniels that played at LIU and played at South Shore. Their dad was like the best player in the country type of stuff. I'm
Yeah.
serious, and
Yeah.
and his dad, and he never talked about it. They never talk about it, but I found the article and saw it, and I spoke to them about it. I was like, I cannot believe that, and they said, yeah, my dad was nice, and
Well, I'm gonna have to correct you, man. Glenn played at Canarsie. He'll kill you if he hear you say he played at
Ah,
South Shore.
Oh yeah, my apologies. That's right. Yeah, you're right.
He'll
Right.
have a fit. He hear you say he played at
he
South
would.
Shore.
Yes, he
Yeah, I'm
would.
sorry.
He,
I stand
he,
corrected. That's right. I'm sorry.
him and John Sally played together.
I know.
Okay,
I
so
know.
okay, then
My bad, Glenn.
he's
He might
after me.
call me too, man. As a matter of fact.
He probably will. That's
Yeah.
sacrilege. Yeah, bro. That's sacrilege.
Yeah. But
But anyway, guys, I gotta go. But like I said, congratulations and look forward to get. We got 5K. Looking forward for 5 more.
yeah, I
There we go.
appreciate that,
There
man.
we go.
There you go. All right, thanks, Joe.
All right, y'all
All
be
right.
good.
Thanks, Joe.
All right,
All
bro.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, it's been like really interesting that we have all of this stuff going on like this, man, and the way the game has changed on us and what, kind of impact it's had. Um it shouldn't change. And over the years, I understand, like I said, that there's certain things they critique, but to do what they've done to the game. And I just heard right before we logged in that the NBA rules committee is going to reevaluate the rules when it comes to how defenses can play defense.
Really?
So yeah, and between that and the referees, that's what's going to be discussed during this year's meeting, is the referees and the rules of how defenses can play defense. And they said the reason being is that they're not happy with seeing teams scoring 149 points. And that's nobody's playing D. Go ahead, Des, score.
That's a go-to sign in my opinion.
Yeah,
When the
yeah,
score
Des,
is
go
super
ahead,
high,
score me, Desmond.
y'all just running up and down the court. Y'all just running up and down the court.
Yeah.
Back to our original point, right? There's no stop being made. So if there's no stops being made, it's just the score is just running up.
Yeah,
I mean, but that's entertainment, right? Because that's what the fans and people want to see. Oh, he scored 40 points. Well, how about you try to stop him from scoring 40 points?
Yeah, really.
I feel like that's more impressive, right? Like someone who's used to scoring 60 points, 40 points, hold him to 10. I want to see that. But nobody
hold him to 25.
Right, hold him to 25. Whatever it is, get that number down. But when you're allowing someone, and don't get me wrong, players are great and you give them their trophies and their cookies, whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, I mean, you're just letting them do it.
Yeah, but something like that is like you have to get the approval because of the rules. That gives me approval.
Exactly.
But then there's the other thing, is kind of like pride of playing the game, and as a big man, Des, start with Des. Like, how do you approach being in that paint on the defensive side of the court? What kind of mindset do you have?
Well, you're supposed to protect the rim. That's what the coaches tell you to do. All right. So if anybody comes in the middle, you got to try and block that shot. I wasn't really big on taking charges, so I'd rather block the shot or just keep the body outside of the paint. I was a big body in high school, so that wasn't a problem. And you had to play defense, man. You had to move your feet.
And I think there's another word. There's another. Yeah, and there's one word that you kind of missed, though, not on purpose, though, but it's not all of us are shot blockers, but you have to contest the shot.
Right.
Like, you have to know how to play defense, and how do you contest the shot when you're playing defense? You don't attack the body. You go, you put your hands up, and there's certain things you're supposed to do. You don't grab the person's ass. You don't do it, moonwalk. There's certain like movements required to play defense, and nobody has their hands up.
No, unless you're Kelvin Hicks, you just go catch it somewhere.
Nobody puts their hands up though, Les.
Yeah.
It's like I don't understand that. And then you catch the ball down low, and I'm 5'11", and the guy's 6'7", and he doesn't know, because he hasn't been working on the move to take the guy down low while he's down low. So what do I default to? I throw it out for somebody to shoot a three.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to make a move. Right. I don't know how to make a move down
And
low.
they're not able to realize the mismatch, right?
Right.
There's a
Right.
mismatch,
Mouse in the
mismatch
house.
that's
Mouse in the
there.
house.
So you take advantage of the mismatch. Like it's like to me, it's blatantly obvious visually. But sometimes I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. Honestly.
Yeah, there's only two people that I know in the league today that would take advantage of that situation without thought, and that's the Joker and Embiid. Because if there's somebody, because they're this, it's just a simple concept for them. But everybody else is like, let me throw it back out for a three, and that's a lower percentage shot. When was that acceptable to throw the ball away from the basket instead of making the layup? That's kind of crazy to me, and
it doesn't make any sense. The probability is higher.
yeah, but
but these are all the things those statisticians putting on the side.
Exactly.
This is what they should be doing. Like, I mean, that it doesn't. The math doesn't math. It's not making any sense, right? So it's like you would rather shoot more threes, and I don't care how great of a 3-point shooter you are. You would rather shoot threes than a higher probability shot that's closer to the rim. That math, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
So, but I don't know what they're doing on the sidelines. They're just sitting there looking pretty in their polo shirts and sweatpants. I guess that's what it's all about. So,
Well, it's like this though. No matter what they're doing, the check is clearing. Right? Yeah, and the concepts that's being pushed through the league, you're following through with it. You're not breaking what the league rules are or what their expectations are. So that, as far as they're concerned, they're not doing anything wrong. But
you know what? Though, it gets back to what Des said about the analytics. Though they're saying if you take 10 3-pointers, right, and you make half of them, and you take 12 2-pointers, we talk doing the math, and that's how they come up with it's better to take more 3-pointers. Which we're purists of the game. We don't believe in that, but I guess it could make sense of just looking at the math. But
yeah, but see, they're using that analytic and they're applying it to people that can't hit threes. I can understand thinking that would make sense if it's Steph Curry. If you're always talking to Steph, then cool. But you're talking to Embiid, because he wants to shoot threes, and Karl Anthony Towns,
everybody,
and then the guy with one eye, it's like, the old lady on the sidelines, they want her shooting threes too. Like, come on, man.
But you know what?
But you know what though?
What'd you say, Des?
Go ahead, Les.
No, I was just gonna say, what they were saying, like when Westbrook was getting those triple doubles, it's because all the 7-footers were out the 3-point line and nobody was underneath the basket.
Yeah.
So he was getting all them rebounds, because that used to be our territory,
Right.
Now and it's anybody's territory.
Yeah. But what'd you say, Des?
I was going to say all three of us knew where we could make our bread and butter, and that was mid-range in the post or free throw. We weren't out there at the 3-point line, imaginary 3-point line, calling for the ball. And like you said, these guys don't know how to shoot, but everybody's shooting that three, man.
Yeah, everybody,
Not be out there shooting it. Mid-range. That's your game. That's your game.
That's it.
And it works for us. But plus, I mean, it's like it's a cause and effect, right? Somebody's playing D on you, and so your skill level kicks in. Your ball handling skills are moving without the ball, whatever the case may be, and you beat your man a little bit, a lot, whatever the case may be. You're not at the 3-point line anymore because you're making forward progress. So number one, that area that you're in now, you're not at the 3-point line. Even if it was during our era, you've already left that area because you beat your man. And so the mid range is the next shot because you don't want to go in the paint because the big man's going to knock your ass down. So you learn how to shoot off the glass, a runner, certain things. Like I watched a video of Bob Cousy like last week, and like every time he's like dribbling, and then he turns the corner on you, and it's a floater. He never came down into the paint where he got contact with the big man, but he took that little floater, mid-range game, like Des said. And it's like, that's the important part that's missing. And the analytics are in the way of the natural math of the game.
Right.
Because you can take, like I said, you can take all of those shots that you want, but somewhere along the line, not everybody can take those. And plus, if you're not playing D properly, that's another opportunity for you to get rebounds. And that's what's helping Westbrook was the fact that nobody was aggressively getting rebounds. So he was following shots. He wasn't standing in the corner like those guys, like I said. He was going after the ball. That aggressiveness never left his being, and that's who he is. So a guy like him, a guy like Dennis Rodman would have a field day in this era because he gave that extra effort. Nobody does that,
Yeah.
you know? So,
well, there's a fusion of the roles too. I think, nowadays it's, before, at least, how I learned, right? There's a 1, there's a 2, there's a 3, there's a 4, there's a 5. Each individual position had a role. Now, of course, you had the threes who was like your swing man. They could sometimes play on the wing, but they could sometimes play in the paint. Nowadays, everybody is just everywhere. And so what makes it really strange is when we get back to the 3-point shooting, everybody wants to be behind the 3-point. Nobody's rebounding, and you say Dennis Rodman. Back then, he was a true post player, maybe even a wingman. He was a true rebounder. Nowadays, it's like every man is for themselves. Everybody's just doing whatever they can. And it's kind of like get what you can when you can versus let me play to my strength that can benefit the team, right? Dad, you always used to say all the time when, we were leaving, it's like, what do you bring to your basketball team, right?
yeah,
and I always thought that
right.
was an interesting question, right? And so knowing who you are, knowing the position that you are, you're able to answer that. Whether you're not a good shooter, I bring defense. Or if I know I'm a ball handler and I'm a natural leader, I'm the leader. I run the show. We all knew what it was that we brought, and when we all came together is what made us a team. But nowadays, it's everybody does everything. So how do we have leadership? How do we have differentiation? How do we factor that out? It just seems that the game that we once knew is just, it's a little fused together, and it just makes it hard to judge it based upon what we've known. And I don't know how we're supposed to judge it going forward, right? Because it's
and
not
you're
the
right.
same, clearly.
Yeah, you're right. Because I sit back and I'm saying, Joel Embiid, why are you bringing the ball up?
Yep.
Like, I don't understand. Like,
Why?
he's waving Maxi off. Like, no. I mean, because what's the first question? If you're doing like, it's kind of like if I don't give you the ball, you won't rebound. If you don't rebound and kick it to me, I'm not going to give you the ball. But
Right.
now you got the ball and you ain't going to give it to nobody, and so you're doing my job. So what's my job now?
And see, the way that I think of that is like you kick it to the guard, you haul your ass down the court, and you get position. Give me the ball. I have position. Let me do my thing. But it's really hard to do the best of what he can do if the ball's always in your hands.
Right.
The ball's always in your hands. How do you? Because the thing about it is you're not a guard. You're not known for making moves to the basket. Hell, no one's setting screens for you. So what are you doing?
And plus your body's not equipped to handle those kind of movements on the perimeter. So you put yourself at injury risk.
Right.
And where is he now?
Yeah.
But meanwhile, the Joker, he knows his place, man.
Right.
One thing I can say about that brother, man, he knows what he knows, and it's and he's making everybody look stupid.
Right.
Yeah, man. He does it in slow motion.
Right. Slow motion.
Yeah.
Because basketball the speed is not important in the half court game. It's doing what's right. That's it. Whether you do it fast or slow, it's not a requirement, man. Just make a good move and then do what you do, man. And that's real important because his skill set, man, it's like nobody's paying attention. And it's like they're now saying he's like over the past 2-3 years, he's been the best player in the NBA. Like they take a page.
Matter of fact, they're on tonight too. They play in Miami.
Yeah, take a page from that. And that's
for real.
and for me, I don't know what is more important. Is it the old head ball player that knows the game and their knowledge, or is it that person that owns like a Michael Jordan shirt and a Michael Jordan hat and Michael Jordan jacket, Chicago, like I'm like that fanatic fan. Like which one is better for the game, Des? Or that ex-player?
Do you want to sell tickets? What's your goal? Do you want to sell tickets?
Right. I was going to ask that.
Is that Michael Jordan hat? Michael Jordan, because all the merchandise.
Trying to make money.
But that's the answer. That's the answer. And that's why I posed it. that is money is the issue. That's the problem. But for the fan, they're not knowledgeable. And I think that's where the problem is. If they understood how the game was played at a fan level,
you froze up.
At a fan level, then they should be okay. I mean, everything should be fine because then the rules will be in place. It's not going to be influenced by the fan. This should be influenced by the people that play the game, that administer the game, and let the fans sit back and enjoy whatever content is being presented to them. But instead of them trying to influence it and infiltrating themselves in to even have their own game, the celebrity basketball game. And it's like 14 people making a damn fool of themselves on national television because they're doing something that they don't do. Oh, I can get a chance to play
I think it's.
Huh?
No, I agree. I mean, I 100. We talk about this a lot, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. The problem is that we now live in a world where everybody is so opinionated. Everybody now has the ability to put that out there, whether that be social media, whether that be a podcast, whether that be, standing outside. Everyone just has the need to voice their opinion, and they want to be heard and they want to be seen. And that's just the world that we live in. So I agree with you. It's just the unfortunate part about it is the world that we live in, because to say that people should sit back and just kind of enjoy it. I mean, for example, I love to watch gymnastics, never done gymnastics a day in my life. And I specifically am not a person that's going to critique every little moment, but there are a large number of people that feel that they should have something to say about that. Why? Because I have freedom of speech and my opinion matters, when in all actuality, it doesn't mean shit. You know what I mean? But that's just the world that we live in. People just have that need to want to say that, even down to like women's basketball. Right now, there's this big uproar about Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. And it's like, some of these people, you just popped your basketball cherry. I'm going to be honest. You didn't watch women's basketball before today, but all of a sudden now it's in your city and your town. And now all of a sudden you're the biggest fan and you feel the need to go on a social media and to write these things that everything about basketball. You've never picked up a basketball day in your life. So unfortunately, the way the world that it's going in is that, the media is 100% taking over. And that media doesn't mean large scale. That media could mean you just have a personal Facebook page and you just want to voice your opinion and talk about it. But to them, it makes them feel good. It gives them a sense of entitlement, which is just super unfortunate.
Yeah. And then you go back to what Desmond said. You want to sell tickets?
Yep, exactly. That's
no matter
the other
what,
part. All of those people are the people buying the T-shirts, the hats. They're buying season tickets. They're buying the concessions. All of those people are contributing to the bottom dollar, and essentially that's what sports are about now. Unfortunately,
and so the average fan is the one that we can give blame to, seeing like these celebrities trying to, like Anthony Anderson play basketball. Like I really needed to see that.
You have these reality stars, you have these social media stars.
Right.
I'm asking my daughter, who are these people? I never heard of them. They're not stars to me, but they have 5 million followers on social media.
Right.
Exactly.
Not me.
Yeah. And I tell you, as far as the game is concerned, the horse is already out the barn. You can't put that back in there now.
Right.
The game's going to keep going further away from what we're used to.
Of course.
Because these guys are jumping so high, and everybody wants to see, the highlights and the lowlights. So it's not gonna go backwards or more stable to like what we were used to.
Right. But when you say stable, let me ask you, when you say stable, you're not eliminating the fact that things need to be critiqued. You're just saying just overall.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
But I'm saying stable meaning that a guy's not going to be almost for a layup and then throw the ball out for somebody for a 3-pointer. Come on, man. I'm like, you go to the hoop and you either dunk on him, get your shot block, something, but throw it back. Come on, man.
Yeah, I know. Not unless there's 3 seconds left and you're down by 3 or something, I get it, but not when it's the first quarter, and it's like 3 to 5.
I think I would try to dunk on him and make him foul me. Shit.
Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah, man.
Well, that should be the goal. I mean, what we're always taught, Dad used to say this a lot. It's like, you got the, and
I just lost
girl
you.
ball past my. You're not even looking at the basket. You're not even looking at the basket. You know
Right.
what I mean? And I think that mentality is when you really think about it, it's like you just get so caught up into the motion that it's like, look at the basket. If you're there, take the shot. And so to throw it for a 3-pointer, that's absolutely wild in the first quarter. Like, what
And
are
you
you
were
doing?
wide
Like,
open. And you
you're
were wide
wide
open.
open.
You didn't know.
You're
You
not
didn't know
even
that there was nobody
understanding.
behind you. And
Exactly.
you're down there and you're like trying to do the Kobe thing, and then you throw it out the three and you turn around. It's like there's nobody there.
Nobody there. Right. Like that's what I'm saying. It's like I believe that sometimes they're just not fully aware. And I don't, I learned this as a player, but it's just, know where you are on the court. Your goal is, to put the ball in the hoop, but know your surroundings, know where you are. And even if you can't see it, you can feel it, you can sense it. But even teammates talking, right? Like, this is the funniest thing, when you have a fast break and someone, I always see this all the time, they're dribbling down the court and they get the ball stolen from the person behind them. And it's like, no teammate saying, watch your back. Like, no, nobody said anything. They just let them take the ball. And
you funny, Mandy. You funny. That happened last night.
That happens all the time.
That happened last night in the game. And I swear, I called your mom and said, what the hell? Like, why is this guy not paying attention? And she didn't understand, but I had to tell somebody.
Wrong person.
No, but I had to tell somebody. Because the dude, after he got the ball stolen, he turned around to his teammate and was like, yo, like, because it was his teammate was back there. It was one of the European guys on the team. And he turned and was like, yo, like, weren't you going to tell me? And because the guy stole the ball and he gave it to somebody and they hit a three. The guy was pissed, man, and it's like, you can't even trust your own teammates, man. So, but you're right. You guys are right. I mean, everybody's points are well taken. And I think the bottom line is what Les says, like, it's like the cat's already out the bag and this is, the new normal, so to speak, so I think
but it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean I always look at things like this. Yes, you're right. 125%. Things are evolving and it's something that we can't change, but it doesn't mean that there isn't room for improvement. And I think things will evolve, but there still needs to be a little structure. There still needs to be, an assessment within that. Of course, things are going to evolve. That's natural. That's what's going to happen whether we like it or not. But there still is room for improvement. Things can always be better. And the reason why I say that is because we don't know it all. Nobody knows it all. Nobody knows the answer to everything. So there is always consistent room for improvement. The problem where it lies
that adds to that, sorry to cut you up, but the thing that adds to that, because like you guys said, the skill level is so much higher now athletically that there have to be adjustments made. But, there are some core things that need to be a standard, And so that's why I said, like, everybody's point is well taken, with that. So, but what a hell of a show, man. I tell you, man.
Yeah, man.
I greatly appreciate, the opportunity to be able to sit down and talk with you, Des, because it's been a long time. We haven't, really talked for a while, and we go back.
I saw you with Riley's funeral. That's
Riley's funeral.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, by the way, also, I talked to one of your teammates. I talked to Face.
Oh, okay. He's down in Georgia.
Yeah. I talked to him.
He's funny.
I must say this, man. I don't know if I'm bragging by saying this or not, but honestly, man, he read me the riot act, man. He's like, let me tell you something about you. That's what he said to me. I'm like, okay. So he's like, man, he said, you used to make people look stupid. And I'm like, what are you talking about, man? Because we haven't talked in like so long, man, but he's doing well, man. He's doing well, man. So, it was good to reach out. I think he's like the one person that I haven't had an opportunity to talk to of all y'all, guys from South Shore. So it's like, it's good to, reconnect with him. And, and on another note, Les, your boy's on Facebook now, right?
Who that?
T. Biles.
Oh, really? Okay.
Winston.
Winston.
Yeah, he's sneaky.
Okay. I gotta check it, man. He's always hitting me up like, yo, man, y'all do any more podcasts? So I'm gonna be glad when you post this one. I'm gonna send it to him.
Yeah, man, definitely, man. But yeah, man, this has been a really good show, man. I really appreciate you coming on, Mandy, and Joe coming on. This has been a whirlwind tour for me, and I know Lester don't want to hear this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. What transpired like a couple of years ago, when all of this really started with the documentary and everything. Oddly enough, it's been a year since that incident happened and that break off, and then the following day, which is the 18th of March, is when I started that page and we started doing the podcast ourselves. And look what it's become, so I'm very, very in a humble way proud of finding out the things I did and left a bad situation into this to truly benefit, the people of Brooklyn and their memories of the holistic part of the history. And there's a lot of us, that are involved in this process. I know, you guys seen those little banners that I've made for everybody with their name in that little circle on the court. And that was, just to kind of like for me to get a gauge of what we're talking about here. And there's like about 70 people, maybe about 157 people missing. But right now, there was like, I made like 575 of those banners. And that's how many basketball players. And that's a lot of guys.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people, man, over like and that's only up to probably like 1990. We didn't even cover the current time frame. But there's a lot of men, and we didn't cover any women as well. There's a lot of men that have, etched their names in the history of basketball in Brooklyn. And I take a lot of pride in identifying who they are. Some people I've missed, and I'll correct that. But just doing that, doing this project, and the happiness that is bringing to everybody, is been kind of like a very weird like highlight, one of the highlights of my life of doing something for someone else. It's not something I did for me. I'm doing it for all of us. And I'm very proud of it. I'm proud of, the effort that everybody else and how everybody's received it as well. So just want to say to the viewing public of everybody and the members, thank you very much for making this, this page something of value in comparison to the other ones that we've seen. The other boroughs have things, and they've been around for 4 or 5 years, and that their numbers don't touch ours. But the good thing is the mere fact that we're sharing everyone's experiences. Excuse me. And that one of the telltale signs is people coming back and telling me, now my son knows that I played. Now my grandkids knew I played back in the day. Da, 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 da. A lot of stories that get back to me from people who are very appreciative. So I'm gonna try my damnness to maintain this, to keep this going, and to grow it for the community of Brooklyn, as well as this shows. I mean, there's a lot of people we got to interview, right, Les? I mean, can't keep track, man.
Yeah.
But it's this interesting dynamic that we're dealing with, and we'll get to people. So with that being said, Desmond Martin, really, really a pleasure to have you on the show. I appreciate your work, and it speaks for itself, on the court and off the court, career wise as well. And like Les said, man, it's a lot of pride. You see the effort that you put in, man. That's really, really good stuff, man. Not the weekend job though. You leave that one out.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, but
You're right. Somebody has to do it.
That's
You're
true.
Yeah,
exactly
somebody's got to do it. Yeah, man.
Right.
But but it's just funny though. That's all. But yeah, man, it's really a pleasure to have you on the show, man. I'll take it offline with you later and say all of the jokes about that. But it's really seriously, man. It's really a pleasure. Glad to have you on the show. Mandy's glad. Thanks for stopping through, and as usual, Les, you know how we do, man. It's been a pleasure, guys, and we'll definitely see you guys on the next side. So take care and have a nice evening, everyone.
All right, man. Good show.
Good show.
Great show, guys.
What's up, Mrs. Evans? You looking all beautiful.
Oh, I don't
My first
think so.
goddaughter.